5:45. Today's gonna be a really good day.
And on the good.
Good morning. Hi everyone, welcome to another vlog. I work in law, surprise, and I've honestly not filmed a vlog in so long, so sorry if I'm a little bit rusty. The last video that you saw, to be honest, was literally just to like touch base. Nothing in particular that was really exciting. I was actually thinking to just maybe share my journey a little bit more transparently as a trainee. I'm obviously not going to be able to share absolutely everything, but for the most part, I would like to be a little bit more transparent about the journey and thoughts and feelings, etc. I get my results next month, which will be really interesting and will obviously impact how the rest of this year is going to go. Not in its entirety. There are some things that are definitely happening whether or not I pass this exam, but certainly from a professional perspective. And I do think that there is quite a bit of pressure, especially because like I am in my 7th year. So I think even at work, like there is an expectation for me to perform at a certain level. I'm not shy to ask for help. Like I'm not a 5-year PQE solicitor, but I do think in some way there is some requirement to perform at a certain level. And I don't know, team, it's a bit of pressure, I'm not gonna lie, which I think is a good thing. That means that people have expectations. But also, sometimes I'm really tired and I just need a nap. I need a really good nap, especially because I work in litigation. The stakes are actually quite high. And right now I'm currently working on some historical abuse claims and also a modern day slavery case, but more on the enforcement side. Make sure I still have a life outside of work. I do think particularly the area of law that I work in, we're not doing like super light topics, you know what I mean? Like there's kind of a lot riding on the work that we're doing. And also I do think, especially in the area of litigation, I feel like there's a lot more room for professional embarrassment because there's a lot more rules. But I definitely think work has amped up in terms of intensity. And then on top of that, like people are asking me, okay, like what's your next step? Like where do you want to go? What do you want to do after the apprenticeship? As in the training contract portion. Oh, when I pass, obviously will like come to an end. And I'm not gonna lie, especially for somebody who hasn't applied for a job in like 7 years. So I'm in my 7th year, so I started in 2020. And then I think another question comes up, like, do you want to stay in litigation? Do you want to stay in the areas of law that you've been in? So I've been in personal injury, medical negligence, human rights. So that's like judicial review, inquest, lots of wrongful stuff. And then free law, so like in essence defending people who work in regulated professions. So I mean there's like plenty of areas. If I wanted to like stay in those areas of law, one of those areas, I could, like I have some experience in it. Or do I want to try something new? Oh, this is cute. That's pretty much it. I'll see you at another part of the day, probably not looking so quite fresh-faced. Breakfast girl, I'm not gonna lie. But before I even arrived at work, I received an email of a client asking for a call at 12, which means today I might stop for lunch. No, I'm kidding. Hello, it's basically lunch, but like I think I will have to end up like working through it. But I think I did actually need a break because I'm not gonna lie, I just had a client call and it was very dense. I honestly don't understand how people are walking out here without jackets because you can hear the wind. It's giving gale force. Yeah, I just had a really intense client call and I needed a break. I needed to catch my breath because I think sometimes, especially in litigation and particularly the nature of work that I'm doing, it can be a lot. And so I think to help, or how I help myself, like I wouldn't say balance and separate, but ensure that I'm actually okay, I think I'm going to do that. I'm literally just going to be walking around the area, which is not particularly interesting. And then I will go back to work. Yeah, I just had a really intense client call and I was with the solicitor. She was having the call really and I was typing on the note. And I think it was a good time for me to like learn, and she has really good like client management skills. So yeah, learning lots, but also learning to like manage myself and like manage my mental health because vicarious trauma is actually a real thing. So I need to make sure that I'm actually doing okay. So yeah, that's it, that's me. I'm gonna be gallivanting on my lunch break. How exciting. I am in the meeting room for my last meeting of the day. It's been a very busy day, I'm not even gonna lie. I don't think I've been vlogging particularly well, especially in open plan, because of course it's open plan. I think it was quite self-evident. And also it's very busy in the office on a Thursday. So after I had that snippet of like a break, I got back to my desk and I had another client call, which was unscheduled to be fair. She is so lovely. I had a really lovely client call and like I've come out of that and I've had 5 more tasks since then. So, you know, and everything's urgent as well. I think that's the thing. The skill of prioritizing is honestly of the utmost importance. I'm glad this is the final meeting. I have another meeting tomorrow. I have a note that I really want to hand in before I log off today. It's 3:30. I probably will be working late, maybe until like 7. And then I can go home after I finish that note because I'm not bringing that in with me tomorrow. And also the solicitor needs to draft something for next week. So is next week or the week after? Actually, I'm not sure. Anyway, that's basically a summary of my day. So I'm just gonna work in this meeting room until it's done.
Something to buy the button, yeah. The button, yeah. Set the potato, sunlight that always stays, dinner by the waterway. It's that sweet life. Raise your cross. Made some dude crack a smile. He asked if I could stay a while. I'm living that high life. Time to catch a flight, but you can make me go. Unlocking all the memories of my new home. Ventilated echoes playing to and fro, back and forth, yeah. Caught some kids dancing in the alleyway. Crazy how the melodies began to play, yeah. Tell me how you feeling when you hear the lyric, yeah. My heart's in Stockholm.
Team. That last clip that you just saw of me working was today at 6:30 a.m. I woke up at 3 a.m. and I took my medication and I did not react well to that. Like I was feeling really nauseous, I couldn't sleep. So I was like drifting off between 3:30. To be honest with you, I mean, I don't think I've really said anything. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's the part that's glorified online. This whole like 3 a.m. I'm waking up super early to, sorry, I'm going to bed super late at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And I just feel like, no, if that doesn't need to be done, I don't see the need to live in a constant state of cortisol. Sometimes, obviously, there's a need for it. If there's deadlines, then it is what it is. Actually, in litigation, there is a very unspoken expectation, especially as a trainee, that like you need to do whatever it takes to get the work done and to get the work done well at whatever cost. And I think that's also what kind of leads people to work overnight. And in as much as it's glamorized, it's actually very traumatic for the body to constantly live in that cycle of up and down cortisol. I think in corporate it is obviously different because the nature of the cases aren't as personal. I mean, business is personal, but like, you know, if it's your company or, you know, your livelihood, even if it's not, like, you might actually just really care about the brand. But I do think that there is another layer when it's like personal injury and it affects your everyday life. So yeah, I mean, this really only is of interest to somebody who's in the law career, but yeah, I know that this working late, etc., is glorified. I'm very grateful to work in an understanding team, but that also requires me to be open. So I'm going to make myself some tea. I think I'm gonna make myself, I actually might just make myself a hot water bottle and like change hanging in there, you know? Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's really gonna be that exciting to watch me work. So I don't know what I'm gonna be filming today, but apparently today is now a work from home day, which I am super grateful for.
Life, sweet life, sweet life. I never wanna.
Hi everyone! If you cannot tell, it is the evening. Yes, I barely filmed today. To be honest, I have noticed a correlation of in instances where I have been working a lot during the week, I scroll more, which is really bad, but it's an unfortunate side effect that I need to manage, and I will be managing that. But I didn't really talk through kind of some of the things that I was doing today. The most interesting things, I guess, or like the highlights were, number one, having a client call, that client call was what it was. And today I had a client call, and then I also had a long piece of legal research, which I think I mentioned before was 9 points. I thought it was going to be like 1 page of legal research. There were 9 points of legal research, and each of those points had 3 sub points, 3 or 4, plus cases to look at, and judgments are not short, let me say that. So that took me a while, but I finalized that today, sent it over to the solicitor to have a look at before they go on annual leave. And then I think everything else was like more in between stuff, just like checking on different individual cases, making sure there's nothing that I needed to action or respond to or, you know, deal with. There are some things that I need to do next week, which I will be doing, but like just chasing things such as trying to obtain evidence, etc. So yeah, I mean, obviously I have to be very vague because everything is confidential, which it should be. But I hope that kind of gave a little bit more of a realistic view of what it's like to be a trainee in litigation in some way. I mean, like, obviously I don't regularly wake up in the morning and start work at 6:30. I usually, if I know that I'm gonna have a long day tomorrow, I usually stay in the office later so that I can wake up. If I leave the office later, then I can wake up at a reasonable hour, not later, at a reasonable hour, and then start work. But yesterday I was like, the sun is out. I'm really trying hard to set boundaries with work. I don't know how it happens. Do you know what it is? I'm gonna put it down to the fact that I actually enjoy working. I enjoy law. I enjoy working in litigation. So it doesn't feel like a chore to keep going. But the body does keep count. So I'm trying to manage that. And also I am still doing my master's as well. So I need to manage my time better than I'm doing now, to be honest. But we're working on it. yeah, overall it's been a really good day. It has been very productive. I'm gonna tidy my room and then I'm gonna go to bed. I hope that this time has been interesting. Thank you for spending time with me. I hope it's been visually interesting. I hope it's given a summary, a little snippet of what it's like. And yeah, I will see you in the next video or vlog. Have a good rest of the day. If you're watching this in the morning, evening, whenever, I'm sending you all my love. Bye.